morning, everyone. It is Mrs. P. I am here to do my monthly overview and budget the first week of October because I'm almost through the first week of October and I haven't done that yet. So I want to do that. But before I get started, I want to give you guys an update on my cousin. Yesterday between 8 and 9 p.m. Cell phone service, we have Verizon, it was restored. And so as soon as it came through, my mom got a message from my cousin saying that he and his son were okay and they were trying to make their way our direction so that they had a place to stay and access to food and supplies that they need. So he is safe. So that worry is now over. So even though there are so many people still, looking for loved ones, I feel like now that the communication is starting to come back, like the restoration of the towers and things like that were damaged, we will start seeing that people are reunited. I think that a lot of people probably just could not reach their loved ones. I'm hoping and praying that that's the case and not that they are, injured or, something else. So anyway, I just wanted to give that update. So I did go to bed knowing that my cousin was safe and his little boy. And yeah, so that is the update there. I'm trying to think of any other updates. We are still out of school. Because of the service being restored, that might mean that we can come back with students tomorrow. Our problem is not only the communication, but something with our fiber optic in our school was damaged. I really don't understand how all that works, but I know it affects like our fire alarm system and other things. So they're working to fix that and get a workaround. So I have full faith that they will get that accomplished today so that we can have students back tomorrow. So crossing my fingers. We are so behind. We missed 2 days last week and now 2 days this week. And that is unusual. And the first semester of the year is very, we don't have wiggle room for missing days because we've got to get the high school finished with their first semester by Christmas. So anyway, that is my update. I have put this sweatshirt on because I was cold and now I'm hot. So, I'm going to try to make it through this, but I'm going to go ahead and pull the sleeves up. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I've already pre-done a lot of my stuff so that just for time's sake, I always start with my calendar and I do it very, very similar to the Budget Mom. And so I just highlight the weeks that we get paid. And so because my October budget started like the last few days of September, I've got this highlighted as these are the things paid with that check and my check. And then it goes on from there. Because October is a 31-day month and I started a little bit before October, it is a 5-week pay cycle. So, which helps in some ways, but hurts in others because that means, 5 weeks of groceries and 5 weeks of, all of the variable expenses. So anyway, it does help a little bit, but, I don't really feel like we ever get a magic month like some people do. I don't know how that works for other people, but it doesn't work for us. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and this is my overview. I don't need to go through it because I'm going to go through it as I do my budget. I've already done my sinking fund plan and then my breakdown for the weekly amounts. Let me turn it sideways. I do it this way. I do it on a full page, but then I print it out two pages per page or however that works so that I can have it all in one. But I break down each week as to each sinking fund and variable expense so I know how much cash to get out of the bank. And as you can see, I've already gotten the first week's cash out. You saw my cash planning. I actually didn't mean to post that video. That was an accident because it's kind of out of order of things, but that's okay. All right, so Here's my monthly overview for the budget. So I take the calendar and then I break it down so that I can see the amounts that I have to pay. And this is how I find out how much I can put toward my snowball. I went ahead and filled in all the categories, so all I have to do now is put in the amounts. So I'm going to zoom you in so that you can see the numbers. All right, so this is going to be for October 2024. Okay, so Mr. P's income, because it is a 5-week budget, it's going to be $5,000. Mrs. P, that's me, is $3,277, and that is what I have left over after my car payment is paid, all of my insurance, my retirement, all of those things. And then $475 is what we were expecting for other. All right, so that's going to bring us to $87.52. Okay, so here we get started with, you know what, I'm looking at my, guys, I'm going to have to pause this and be right back because I did not calculate something into it because I had a change in the budget, so I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. Okay, so this is the change that I had right here. Progressive, and now there's Farm Bureau. All right, so let me go ahead and just explain what has happened. We have been getting quotes from other insurance companies, and we found that Farm Bureau was a cheaper policy for my husband and I, so we switched to Farm Bureau. But in the process, my middle son, he is still on our insurance with us. But the timing of us switching coincided with the downed outages, whatever you want to call it, of the cell phones and like things like that. And so once we switched us, they needed to talk to my son to get him switched to Farm Bureau. But they lost communication with him, so they couldn't do it. So he is still on Progressive. We are now on Farm Bureau. Now that the phones have been like reinstated, then we're going to get him moved over to Farm Bureau. But in the meantime, this renewed and was taken out of the account today. So he is on Progressive. We are on Farm Bureau. So he is paying his portion. We are paying our portion. So that's what was different about the budget, because I did the overview of the budget before we made those changes. So I needed to fix that real quick. All right, so back to this. So the mortgage is $1,140. Progressive, just his portion of the bill is $201. Now that is very expensive, which is why we were switching. He did have was it a speeding ticket in January? And it wasn't even a big one. It was like 10 miles over the limit. Anyway, that's what caused his insurance to go up. But we've already gotten a quote for him with Farm Bureau, so it's going to be half that with Farm Bureau. But we couldn't get it all done in time to prevent him from having to pay that first month. So he's going to pay that this month, and then next month he should be on this, and his payment will be much, much smaller. All right, so our portion of the insurance with Farm Bureau is $165. All right, Microsoft is $19. Assurant is $15. That's his renter's insurance, which we will probably, when we get him switched here, we'll probably get renter's insurance and have it all in one thing. Plus, we need to get the Gator moved over to Farm Bureau. So everything will be on there, and we'll not have so many different insurance payments or like companies. All right, Car Wash is $40. Live 360 is $8. No, Live 360 is not $8, it's $9. Okay, $9. Mr. P Hobby is $61. iRobot is $32. And I did find out this is a subscription. So my husband and I have to make a decision. Is it worth paying $32 a month for vacuum cleaner? No. So we've got to figure out what we're going to do about this. All right, Geico, $29. So this is probably the last time you'll see that. we will probably get all of these all into Farm Bureau and just have one policy. All right, Discovery Plus is 10. Apple Music is 12. Power, well, I put, here's another thing. I put it in the budget for $450, but I've already got my bill. It is not $450 this month. It is very close. It is, let me see. It is like $418. I can't remember, but I'm going to go ahead and leave $450 because I've got that figured into the amount, but it'll get fixed once we do our budget. But I did find out there was something wrong with, oh goodness, guys, I don't know anything about electrical stuff, but there was something wrong with something that we had in the house that was causing this bill to be so high. So we've got one more high bill, and then it should go down because my husband had it fixed. So it should go down. This should be the last time we have a super high bill. So I'm glad we called and got it figured out. Luckily, my husband is a very good handyman. He can fix almost anything. Spotify, that's 13. Hulu is 27. Peacock, I have canceled that, so I have it here. I'm going to leave. Obviously, I have not done my homework. I didn't fix all these things. I'm going to leave it there, but that one is gone. We've canceled Peacock. Verizon, $425. Google, $3. Apple Storage, $10. YouTube Premium, $25. And Mr. P Hobby, $49. Okay, so now, obviously, this is kind of not accurate because our power bill is about $20 or $30 cheaper. We're going to get rid of that Peacock, which is $3. But I'm going to go ahead and just leave this amount here, $26.38, because I don't want to have to pause you guys again. All right, so that is going to be moved over here to the bill total, $26.38. And I can go ahead and put our income here, which is $87.52. And our goal is to get to a zero-based budget. All right, so even though this is the next one down, I save this section for last because sinking funds and savings challenges is not priority. Priority is paying our bills, then our debt, and then like variable expenses. Actually, variable expenses probably right there with debt. But I'm going to go ahead to the variable expenses because it is a 5-week month. We've got $750 for groceries, $100 for pet supplies, $100 for household, $150 for Mr. P, $260 for Mrs. P. Miss P is $100. Eating out, $100. We do have some October birthdays. Hopefully we can do them all in one, and so we only have one eating out expense. Gas, $300. Miscellaneous is $50, and hopefully no unbudgeted. So our variable expenses is $19.10, and then I'm going to move that down here. So variable is $19.10. All right, then I'm going to go to the debt. Okay, so we have the truck payment, $470, Citibank, $20. That's our current snowball card. Wells Fargo, $75, Ortho, $88, John Deere, $404, student loan, $498, and snowball. We are anticipating having $417 to put toward the snowball this month. Should be more since the power bill's cheaper and some things, but hopefully, you know, no crazy expenses come up. So this section is $19.72. So I'll move that down here. Oh, $19.72. And then I'm going to go over here to savings challenges and sinking funds. Okay, for sinking funds, we have $897. And then for savings challenges is $13.25. And included in the savings challenges are the funds that the games that I'm planning to save up for our summer savings, which I need to have that saved up by May or June of next year. All right, so this section adds up to be $2,222, and I will move that over here, $2,222. And if I add these up, it comes to $8,752, and that leaves us with a zero-based budget. I do need to tweak it a little bit so that I have everything, accurate, because I know that this one is wrong and this one is wrong. But other than that, that is our budget for the month of October. So now I'm going to go ahead and do my first week, even though we are well into our first week of October. That way I can have everything caught up, because I'll have to do the check-in. So I need this done so I can do my check-in. All right, so for the week of, this is September 26th through October 2nd. And today is currently the 1st. So this one is almost done. All right, so Mr. P Mr. P income is $1,000. Mrs. P, $32.77, and then other, I'm expecting $405, and that gives us a total income of $46.82. Okay, so then I've got mortgage, $1,140, progressive is $201. That's my son's, so he pays that out of this money right here. Farm Bureau is $165. That's our policy. Microsoft is $19. Assurant is $15. And Google is $3. All right, so this section adds up to be $1,543, leaving us with $3,139. I'll move that down here to this section, $3,139, and I've got my sinking funds. These things I've already taken out of the bank, $240, and savings challenges was $265. And that's $505, and that leaves us with $2634. Okay, variable expenses. I have a funny story. So, the grocery store that is our local grocery store is Ingles, and Ingles, their warehouse, their main place where they have all of their trucks and all of their everything. Anyway, it was damaged in the hurricane, and so our Ingles only is taking cash. And this was so funny. Well, not haha funny, but it was ironic that my husband kind of gives me a hard time about my cash and getting all the cash out of the bank and then using cash like that. But guess who was prepared with cash to spend at the grocery store? And, a lot of people don't keep cash. I'm surprised at how many people, were struggling. The ATMs ran out of money. They have no cash in them because people were having to go and get the cash out because it wasn't just Ingles. There was gas stations, things like that. There were not taking cards because of the cell phones out and the phone lines down. So they had a lot of people, scrambling to try to get stuff. And I felt really good about our decision to use cash because we didn't have to scramble and we didn't have to worry about it. And even if I didn't do cash for all of these items, my variable expenses, it's a very smart idea to keep some cash on hand for emergencies like this, because you never know when things might not work like it's supposed to. I'm having a hard time talking and writing at the same time. Gas, $60. Miscellaneous, $10. And unbudgeted is $0. Okay, so this section is $370, and that leaves us with $2,264. Okay, $2,264. We've got my husband's truck payment, which is $470. Citibank is paid this week, 20. Wells Fargo, 75. Ortho, 88. And our Snowball, we are not putting anything toward it this week. All right, so this section adds up to be $653. And that leaves us with $1,611 to carry over to the next week. And so that is it for this video. I apologize for not having it perfect and kind of messing up on the overview, but you guys get the drift. I mean, budgets are not perfect and they change all the time, so that's why you need to stay on top of it. So anyway, we're trying to make changes to help save money, and that was part of that was changing insurance companies. It just happened at the wrong time, like a really bad time. I did not anticipate, you know, the hurricane causing so many, you know, outages in our area. So anyway, guys, that is it. I am going to say goodbye, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you guys for all of your love and support. I appreciate it so much. And I'm going to continue keeping the links for, you know, like, I am not asking anybody to donate money if you don't have the money, but if you do have extra money, I know some people save for, you know, charity and things like that. Helping the communities that have lost everything is very important to me. So anyway, if you can, that would be amazing. So thank you guys. I will see you in my next video.